Hi there, welcome back to the Noah Presgrove case. It's kind of like a viewer requested video today. Credit to Skeptical for the support on the channel in recent time. I thought it's good time and it's nice to look at the comments, but more so on my own channel. It's been very active recently with the talks within the case, the new information coming out and people reacting to it. The best thing is it's all here already, so I'm just going to gather it all up, look at the comments, answer any questions, add on any additional thoughts or analysis that's required. And it's just another way of learning. And believe me, maybe it's not needed at the moment because it's already full on, but it can generate so many new ideas in different ways and videos too, which is a big positive. So that's what I'm doing today. I know it might not be the most interesting to some people or flashy or visual, and I do understand it's been quite heavy and full on looking at comments on Facebook, but you know, when it comes to learning, I'm doing it on the spot as I'm making these videos when it comes to the raw information. So I'm not stopping, I'm not slowing down. I can still create, but I can also learn at the same time, and hopefully other people can too. So it's quite raw, I do understand, I acknowledge that, but so are the reactions. So with what I've tried to learn and process recently, and maybe you too, we'll see how it translates within the comment section. Now the video, what we're looking at today was like 1 to 2 days ago from what I can remember, but I didn't get to respond to people's comments physically. I did with the previous video and then the one after that, which was last night, but it's just about catching up in the moment. Now, welcome to those that are currently here in the live premiere, and those, you know, if you want to, feel free to participate in the live chat on the right-hand side of the screen. Obviously, big shout out to people for their stamina, patience on this case, or even just my coverage, and just in general, because obviously for some people who may have been around a bit longer with this case when it was much earlier on, I came later, so it's still quite fresh for me, but for those that have stuck around for quite some time, that's obviously a big positive too. So yeah, at any point, even at the end of this video, if you do want to leave comments, share additional thoughts, you can do so down below in the comment section under the video. You can also find a comment pinned by me with additional links if you do want to support this channel. If you simply want to catch up on recent coverage of my videos, top right corner of the screen where the I symbol is, you'll find some which I've uploaded recently. If you want to check them out, you can do. But I think with that being said, without further ado, let's get into the YouTube comments and see what people have had to say. Here we are. I'm just going to go across to the newest comments, and I guess we'll start from the bottom, work our way up like what we've always have done. We've got a range of different comments to get through. So first of all, we got Rebecca. Says, I like it when you're slow and you take your time. That's good to know, Rebecca. Very good to know. And 19 other people agree, including me. Boom, live reaction. Shay says, me too, I can actually keep up that way. That's obviously a big positive. That, Rebecca, what's that emoji? Looking through clouds or bubbles? Huh? Carl. He's gotten shit for talking too slow, which is ridiculous in my opinion. Raf explains all the angles, takes his time. I like the foreigners. That's good to know. Shout out to Carl. What else do we have? Rebecca. I feel bad because I was one of the people that said he talks slow. That's okay. But I meant it in a complimentary way. I can't believe I enjoy his videos so much. It's really a vibe thing, like overall vibe. What he says, how he thinks, the organisation, it's even thorough, I think, about everything. So I enjoy what Ref does too, but in a more organised way, never fails. That's very positive, that. So yeah, there we go. What I will do, just as a heads up, I'll probably do a serious video again tomorrow, but I might do a light-hearted one in between, a map analysis. Maybe a lot of people may not know what that is, but it's a very light-hearted thing. I might do it if there is time. Yeah, if there is time, I'll try and do that tomorrow. There'll be like some people, regulars on this channel, that will be familiar with it, but it's just because when I typed in a certain name, it came up with an actual location. It's kind of funny, but I'll do that in the background, okay? That's just as a heads up. We got this person here. I don't know what the username is because it says user. That's probably the tag handle. But shout out to them. 77 people watching, 20 likes. Nah, people hit the like button, please. Appreciate that. Good of you. Good individual. Skippy as well. There we go. Appreciate that. Sonny, you're amazing, Ref. How you keep on this case. Justice for Noah and his family. Appreciate that, Sonny. Very nice. See, Henderson, I agree with you. Put so much hard work into his case. He's not going to stop until there's justice for Noah and his family. There we go. There we go. There are other comments, in case you're wondering, when it comes to questions in the case. I did check earlier. We got CV with a cat profile picture. Meow. Meow. God, I can't get the pitch quite right. Meow. Meow. Yeah, I do better with the growling one. I'm late starting at the beginning. Love to stamina. There we go. So shout out to CV. Good individual. We got Marty. The family of Noah Presgrove posted earlier this month not to believe everything you hear unless you hear it from them. They made videos. I do have a counterpoint to that, and I'll mention it shortly. CY says, frankly, Noah's family has mismanaged their role, failed to hire skilled private investigators quickly enough, and haven't filed a wrongful death suit, which would compel testimony from these involved. Whilst I have tremendous sympathy for his family, they aren't the sole arbiters of the truth. Noah's death is tragic, but he also wasn't a saint. Let's not be naive. That said, he absolutely deserves justice, and multiple people who were in his company during the last few hours of his life should be charged with various crimes. I don't know the reference about Noah not being a saint. I don't know what the examples of that are, but yeah. The only counterpoint that I had was, yeah, I do remember when some of the family members did a post, whether that be an individual or collective. It might have been Robin Smith, or it could have been Ashley Chadwick, where they said, it might have been Ashley Chadwick in a TikTok video saying how if, talk, information or gossip comes about from anywhere else, don't trust it, don't listen. If it's from the justice page, then it will be facts and the truth, and that's all you need to know. And whilst, yeah, okay, fair enough, when it came to the Justin Roy situation, who also had receipts and screenshots, just to put things into perspective, in the past, when on the family run page, supposedly there were posts announcing certain news from the FBI involvement to 3 private investigators. And when Justin Roy reposted those supposed facts from the justice page onto the army page down the line, that's what caused some of the tension between Justin Roy and some of the Noah's family members or so. And then I think in between, not long ago, there was like points made of, why were you saying that, Justin Roy, about this and that? It's not true. And then Justin was saying how, well, you announced it yourself in the past. I was simply relaying it. That's just a little reference there. It just puts it into perspective. We got Cleo, amazing one today, Raf. You're welcome. Glad you liked it. And I think that's like a cat emoji face. Looks quite good, that. We got Miss saying, time ran long, but justice prevailed. Satellite video, 7 arrested in death of a 20-year-old. I'm not sure what that is. Safia refers to Miss as a troll. Some people are confused. As for Miss, I don't know if they've mentioned any comments about me, or if it was the other dodgy account. I can't remember. Was it Coffee or something? I just remember 1 or 2 people. It's probably not this person. It might be someone else. Bianca says, you know what, dude? You blacked out within the first 5 minutes. That's a new record. Oh yeah, Bianca. That's what it's all about. Hitting new records and ringing that bell. I love your sarcasm. See how Raf didn't use street jargon to talk about getting screwed fast? Yeah. Very considerate, very mindful, yet top tier. Very unique. So, interested? Do I use street jargon? Not from what I'm aware of. I remember on YouTube in the past, some years ago, you had the YouTube streets, the red light districts, but I didn't quite qualify for that because of my standards. Anyway, interesting. Just as a little bit of a backstory, sometimes, you can be dodgy, you can represent it through abstract art in a way where those that know will find it funny, those that don't know will find meaning in it in another way out of pure interest or positivity. So it's kind of like a win-win, right? If you just walk around and think, right, whip it out, it's like, excuse me, that's weird. But if you just put a spin on it, oh yeah, I'm just gonna unzip myself and pull out that mighty hammer shining and glimmering in the sunlight to fix this rooftop because the tiles are loose and someone needs to nail them in case the rain comes. You don't want flooding inside of the house. Kind of like that. Anyway, let's lock back in. Safia, man, that Jack, what a best friend, huh? Snake. I mean, when it comes to Jack Newton, will things like the focus on him fade away with the recent talk of JJ Bumpass and Travis and that supposed best friend Damon online, who's not a friend and fake, which people are claiming? Is the focus shifting in a different direction when it should remain where it currently is? I don't know. But personally, even if it does shift away, all it takes is just one person to focus back in on the other stuff so it's not forgotten about. And if that's what I need to do, then it can always be done. But I do want to try and keep up with the latest stuff in the moment at least, and then we can always work backwards. We got someone with 1 day at a time. Shout out to them. I missed a live. That's fine. The videos aren't going anywhere. You catch up on them when you're able to. Sherry, absolutely love your podcast. Noah, I'm sure appreciates your help as well. Keep on fighting. Shout out to Sherry. Good individual. More videos to come. I thought that said sausage, but it says Susange, just call them sausage. British humour. I guess it is. In a way, it's probably a bit more warlike Raf humour because, I don't know, maybe my humour is just a tiny little bit different or a little bit more abstract. We've got Dark Darling. Now, I forgot who this person was, but I know they're a key individual. Maybe from Reddit. I can't remember everything because, all the different usernames, but I think I might have it in my mind who this person is. So shout out to them. Rebecca again. Oh my God, such a busy individual. All these comments, my God. So glad you like the videos. One day, Sunday was all long-time friends going to breakfast, and I can understand that because that's like how Caden worded it. One day says, I don't recall Caden Pressey naming him regarding the breakfast, and that's correct. Caden Pressey never mentioned Travis Monson's name or JJ's, but more specifically Travis. The reason why we're questioning Travis here, because based off Sharai and the post what we saw ourselves of Travis, he was supposedly at the party with the photo taken. More about that in a separate video. But it was supposedly taken Saturday night or going into Sunday morning. Regardless, it was around the time of when only close long-time friends were attending the beginning of that party. Before Sunday night rolled in and then all the strangers came on down. So if Travis was there earlier and Caden Pressey regards Saturday and Sunday morning as long-time friends getting together, I'm just surprised Travis' name wasn't brought up into that conversation. Could it be that Caden wasn't allowed to give that name at the time for legal reasons or sensitive reasons? Who knows? But it's worth putting up. We got Ernest, give him hell, partner. Yep, I don't know why I was going to go into a cowboy voice there, but yes, more videos to come, of course. One day says, who is B-Dub? And that was mentioned by Pecker. Pecking parrot. Pecker the Pecker. I don't know. But yeah, we got Bumpass and we got Pecker. So Pecker is Bumpass. Pecking is Bumpass. What the fuck? It's like a tongue twister. Oh boy, it's endless, isn't it? But with that text conversation, which was like reposted on Facebook, and it came from Snapchat, I believe, between JJ and Peck, for short. First name, Caden, but not Pressy. Caden Pecker. I don't know how else you're supposed to say the name, to be honest. How else would you say it? I don't know. And they mentioned, when talking about that alibi, oh yeah, JJ and Pecker, you know, us, we were elsewhere at that time. We were at B-dubs, right? What does B-dub mean? What do people say? Junie, is BW Bub Wilcoxon? Yes, that's what the initials are. That's correct. But B-dub, I don't know if that's short for bub or play on words. Maybe it is. If it was, then it kind of is a bit closer within the case because of Bub Wilcoxon's name being brought into things in discussions, even though he wasn't attending the party. I think people were saying he arrived afterwards in terms of the post-death of Noah. Or maybe I'm wrong, it could be before the news of it. You know, at the highway. But anyway, Vanessa. Shout out to Vanessa. Skeptical, key individual. There are many similarities to the Dylan Rounds case. Only those in the know with the details will understand. Right now, we're at the Coy Lebir stage. Someone coming in with all the answers and all the caps, but they were wrong, very wrong. Will a video become the key evidence that will solve Noah's case as it did with Dylan? Time will tell. You never know, right? Time will tell. We've got Mike. Welcome, Mike. We've got Kathy. Chris. Who's Chris? Chris, Jack Newton, and Howard are seriously involved in the death of Noah. The birthday sisters and Stevie know all the information on what happened, plus Caden Pressy saw things that he was threatened to shut up about, or they'll do the same to him. Is that so? Who's Chris? Carl wants to know too. Kathy says Chris is the birthday girls. All right, so Chris is Avery Combs' best friend forever, or family members. Right. That group of friends, neighbours, all were jealous of Noah and set him up for his demise. Wish he'd have gone on into the Marines. He would have made an awesome serviceman, unlike any losers in that group. Who's Howard, or are you using a last name of the Howard family? It's a bit vague, this. Has anyone else heard of Chris before, mentioned in this case? Any significance there? You want to fill in the blanks, feel free to do so. 42 South. Hey mate, you need to slow it down, information and volume wise. This is becoming ADHD and autism spectrum disorder. Interesting. 5 people agree with it, so probably the lurkers. But you know, at the end of the day, whilst 42 South talks quite a lot with a default profile picture, don't worry. You don't need to be hard on yourself. It's okay, 42 South. Don't worry. What else do we have? I should be in bed, but stuck on Warlike Raph's videos. Ooh, past the bedtime. That's okay. Shout out to Carl. We've got Frank. Sometimes it pays to go back over the footage, the videos, what we may have missed. That's true. That is true. With the Dylan Brown's case and even Kenny Veach, I actually did use screenshots and photos from previous videos to make my points. And they were easy to find because of how I titled the videos. I've kind of done that here as well. Not as much because some of the stuff I've actually saved as photos or screenshots, so I can always go back to them that way. Because there is a lot of receipts and conversations in this case online. Glenn says it's simple. Truth is not instant gratification. Frank, where's your double clutching hat, mate? And Spyglass as gumshoes. Keep up the excellent work. Appreciate that, Frank. It's good of you to say. As for my hat, oh, they're all over the place. The Roman helmet is in the wardrobe. Maybe I'll pull that out someday. Andrea says this lovely lad from the UK has perfect diction and expression, very articulate expression, smarts and sense of humour. If y'all country bumpkins in rural Oklahoma or Texas find this beyond your level of intellectual comprehension, Oh well, so be it. Maybe that's the worm that's been squirming through and through the investigation of the horrible crime. Yep. I've not seen Andrea before on my channel, so welcome if you are new and appreciate what you say. We got Junie, you do well. Yes, during the vid part, maybe on 1.25 or 150 when I'm in a hurry. That's fine, that's okay. Usually regular speed is fine, but what matters is the information. Appreciate that, you're welcome. Yeah, putting it on fast speed isn't a problem. It might be of value to some people, that's all good. It's good that YouTube gives the option, for people to have that. Carl says, I've just finished your newest video. Screenshots did it for me. I actually changed my mind and I believe JJ Bumpass defense. Who would know there was another KP Caden Pecker? I know it's a bit of a coincidence, that name, a bit odd. I know you're not 100% convinced, but I thought you did an amazing job. That's obviously good to say. Appreciate that. Yeah. All Carl's on a roll. I loved when you read the girls' names and went into an emotional Valley Girl impersonation, and some of the other names were yelling them out, the ones like the girls who thought you were slow talking away to the truth. I mean, I was laughing, and you humbly said, an Australian accent, yeah, mate, got a lot of work to do. I don't know when I'm going to find the answers to it, but I'll work on it. There you go. I wonder what it sounds like if I said Carl in a different accent. Carl, where are you, Carl? Is it past your bedtime? Solomon, thank you, Wallet Ref, for the update. I hope this incident happened in a... I hope this happened in a specific countries. The case has been in court waiting for the decision so far. You're welcome, Solomon. Welcome to the channel. Kelly Shires. I love you, Wallet Ref. I love that you tell people to piss off. They don't like you. Appreciate that. Shout out to Kelly. Good individual. John Doe. Here we go. Interesting. I keep saying how crazy that is that almost everything I have said on this channel, Reddit, Facebook, etc., keeps coming out. Every time that I have posted this, everyone calls me crazy. Well, that's incorrect. I haven't. That I didn't have proof, etc. Yet here we are again. I mean, Jack Newton literally told me that they were there. No one believed it. Did you provide a screenshot, though, at the time of that conversation? Because that would have helped. I've went at it with Dina Rose on Facebook on her claiming that everything she says is true and all fact. I already posted about JJ, Travis and Colton months ago and everyone said that I was crazy and spreading gossip. I posted it on this channel and was told that I don't have proof and spreading lies. I mean, to say spreading lies could be a bit bold to say, but if people did question and say, do you have proof, to back up what you say in text format, I mean, it shouldn't be a bad thing, that. There's no harm in people asking for a screenshot or a photo just to further reinforce it, right? Because at the end of the day, yeah, when it does come to online, it could be hard to put your trust into people in many different situations. It's one of the most challenging things, but if you do manage to overcome that, that's a lot greater and stronger than anything in real life. Because, regardless of the situation and the distance, when it comes to online, it's obviously a lot harder in different ways, but if you can work around it, it's much greater long term than other things. What else do we have? Anything else to mention? Already posted. Okay. I've went at it with Dina Rose on Facebook. Her claim about everything she says is true or fact. I already posted about... Okay. I don't know why it's been spread twice. Don't know why I said it twice, but oh well. Hoff. What about that box that dead people can make garbled comments through? More accurate than tarot cards. Ouija board. Ouija. Oh, is Hoff talking about the spirit box? I mean, it happened in the Dylan Rounds case and it really didn't help at all. TJ, no quickies allowed. Ooh, TJ knows what's up. And what do we have here? That George Choden is a fake account of yours. Not yours, of course. Yeah, one of those. Yeah, so we've actually gone on to a different comment section because it wasn't just that one video I needed to catch up with. I need to acknowledge the comments here, which is more centered and focused on the case itself. Apologies about that. I must have got mixed up with the wrong video, but nevertheless, it was really good to see all those positive comments and stuff in general. So, do it to the newest. There we go. That's what I was looking for, you know, the paragraphs, the thickness of it. So there is a handful, but we'll get for it appropriately. Skeptical once again, saying the guy on the right is Travis Monson, the one that said he wasn't at the party, but supposedly was there from the talk online. But who's the dude on the left? Well, that was JJ Bumpass. This is just in relation to the thumbnail that I did at the time. Makes me remember the story about the young men in the casino bathroom disposing of a hat. That's actually a good reference that. I wonder if JJ Bumpass or even Travis played a role in present at that casino. But then again, some people have been critical on Kathy Bingham, the PI. Although she wasn't there at the casino at the time, a witness was. And I do forget the name. Maybe they were called Kathy something else. Kathy Carter, claiming to be the one to have seen it all, left a comment on my channel, if you remember, and they were a little bit rude. So it wasn't looking too good then. I don't know what's happened since. It's kind of faded away, that discussion, but it could always link back as of right now. Billy says, I think Jack called him around 3 o'clock and got him there to do the deed. Interesting. Would it even be possible to track any phone calls or text conversations with other people? Even if the phones were wiped, cleaned or whatever, is it possible to trace back those calls? Because any communication around that time, there could be a link. And this type of stuff is actually quite interesting because you could possibly, with the addition of these new people, apply it to a completely clean map analysis and just really focus in on around 3 in the morning to 3:30. If you remember with my previous map analysis, I had said that, you know, something within this time frame feels important, right? As to where Noah was last seen supposedly walking away, but all the stuff just before that leading up to it, how significant. So Tuesday, the guy on the left is, I asked the same question. Someone in the Facebook group asked if these guys were there when Noah died. They weren't there when Noah's body was found. Question, I said maybe at the casino throwing away a hat. These two guys and Colton. Couple agree. Skeptical. So whose friends are these? I personally have not heard Jack, Caden or the girls and their families mentioned them being at the party. At least to what I'm aware of, I would agree as well. Caden's not mentioned any other obscure names, unless for some reason when Caden referred to the Texas boys or, you know, any of the other strangers coming on down, it included some of these names. But how close is Caden to JJ to Travis? Because if they're close enough, then Caden probably would be more familiar with those guys and would have made reference in the video. Carl, maybe the guy on the right is now becoming famous. So according to Warlike Rath's older videos, the narrative was that Avery Combs was friends with the Texas boys, but they were strangers to Noah, for most part of it. Person, clicker friends. There seems to be a mystery of the Dove hog hunt. Who was there? Did any of the Texas boys have any conflicts or confrontations with Noah? If so, what about? Key issue. That's summarised well. I know Carl said sometimes it's hard to remember things, but I'd say Carl has done a good job, you know, summarising all of that from my past videos. That's pretty much correct. Safia. Billy, agree with that timeline. Noah got killed between 3 in the morning to 3:30, not 4. The timelines don't line up otherwise. Now, could there be any truth in the 4 a.m. timestamp as said by Jack? The passing away part, maybe that isn't correct, but coming across his body for some reason could be somewhat true, but still. It would make you think, well, why didn't you call police then, in that moment? Carl says, JJ Bumpass, as Warlike Rath says. Tuesday, there were Jack's brothers Colton and friends. They were at the party Saturday night stealing beer from Jack. Allegedly now there's evidence of a video of them with Noah at 3 in the morning Monday morning, and it's not good. Is that the supposed murder video? And as well, if it is on the basis of murder, and it's on the basis that there are certain people involved, why would those type of people even record it in the first place? Obviously, it's bad enough in the process of killing someone and the brutality of it, but why record it? I'm only thinking that, you're the one doing it. Do you want a digital trace where it could trace back to you and incriminate you? It just doesn't sound like a good idea, but maybe they don't care in the moment, or they thought it was a good idea, thought it was funny to record it. I mean, people can be different nowadays when it comes to recording all kinds of stuff. I'm guessing that supposed possible footage out there of a possible murder and it all being recorded. Is it original files? Was there an attempt made to delete that stuff by said individuals? Or was there no attempt made? If there's other people at the party, innocent or not, that cleaned their phones, wiped them, factory reset as it's been stated, then why did they do that then? And then what did the others do, the ones who may be responsible? Luana, the employee, has been interviewed by the PI according to her, and supposedly Luana, that employee, has reached out on my channel and left a public comment, but they had a bit of an attitude. It's all documented. Skippy, wow, do you have any information about what the video shows? Is it being assumed it's a video of killing or of a fight, an argument? Oh wow, thanks Tuesday for clarifying. How could Ellie not have seen this video? I would think any video, even if deleted, could still be accessed, but they'd have to know the source so they can track it down. I don't know much about that, so I'm just speculating. And there we go with the add-on. I was about to say that. Tuesday says, from what I've been told, it's recently been turned over to the police, the murder video. It's far worse than anything we could have imagined. So obviously that doesn't sound good at all. It was, I think, Vanessa that said those who did watch it, whoever they are, were sick, vomited, because it was that bad. I mean, wow. Skeptical. So then, how does it tie in with Jack's sketchy timeline? Was he there too, or least of knowledge? Or at least Jasmine knew because she called her mom at 5:30 to 5:45. Time more in line with Caden's timeline. Billy, JJ Bumpers has tried to gaslight and tell Caden he was wrong. I've not seen any screenshots of that yet, but maybe they'll show up at some point. Skeptical, so JJ was the other guy that Caden mentioned in his Partners in True Crime interview as being at Jack's scrap pile when Caden saw the golf clubs. Why wouldn't Caden say his name? That's a question mark, I guess. Yeah, so a bit of context about that. Post-death of Noah, as time passed on by. Can't remember what month it was. Caden was with Jack Newton at the back of Jack's place at the scrap pile. Caden accidentally comes across a bag golf clubs, supposedly the actual ones, but Caden wasn't aware at the time, but pulled one out. It was damaged. It had a dent within it. I wonder what caused that. And when telling Jack, Jack said, put that back, put it away. Very dismissive. I wonder why. But there was a third person with them. Now, Caden Pressey at the time in the Partners in True Crime interview said, yeah, that other guy that was with us, I'm not going to mention his name nor reveal his identity because he plays no part in this case. He did not attend the party. No name was mentioned. Skeptical is suggesting that maybe JJ was that other guy, but I don't know personally. Carl thinks it's a good question. They all know each other, so they feel like they're effing someone over if they mention a name. Small town. Let's see. Another guy named Kobe said he was with Caden at Jack's junkyard and that golf clubs were there, but Jack wasn't there, even though Caden made it seem like Jack was there. Oh, that's Jade saying that. Interesting. Probably threatened him one day at a time. Why would there be there without Jack being present. True, because like I think how Kane worded it at the time, he was with Jack at the scrap pile, helping out. Yeah. We've got Mike, hello, Billy, Mother Milan, Renee Milan and Caleb Newton were the ones that covered it up, and they're local law enforcement. Right. They both work for police now. What Billy meant was Renee Milan and Caleb Newton, the parents of, Renee Milan, the mother to Jasmine Milan, Stephanie Milan, Jade Milan, etc. Caleb Newton, the father to Jack Newton, Colton Newton. Separate people, separate families. And Billy is suggesting or quite confident that Renee and Caleb are the ones that helped cover up the murder of Noah, and the law enforcement as well helped. Separate people. Yeah, corrupt Ellie possibly covering it up. Do I think that myself? I don't know at the moment. All I will say is the fact of going down there, such as Renee, to move the guns out of the house, but to leave everything else as it is because police are going to know it's a party anyway. So then why do you need to move the guns then? If that's going to be left, the guns should be left as well. Keep it natural as it is. There's no point adjusting anything unless you feel a great need to do so. And then to pass it on to Caleb of all people. Interesting. But this is the thing. It was worded by Renee that some of the people that were leaving the house had firearms in their vehicles or so locked up. So if they were going to leave, they'll be leaving in their own vehicles, you would think, taking their firearms back home with them. So why would Renee have to gain access to those vehicles of those leavers to get the guns out and then return them to him afterwards? It just seems a bit silly. Anyway, Kathy, whoever is conversated with this post, I'll know. I hope the FBI gets involved quickly before someone else gets outed. I mean, if there is like really hard-hitting, concrete evidence video, really shocking and disturbing, whatever, how bad it is, and yet the FBI haven't stepped in yet, what type of lead is truly needed? Because at least how it was worded, I believe, by the family on the last Partners in True Crime interview, is that the FBI are on the sideline. They will step in and assist if there is a need, if the thumbs up, the go ahead. Supposedly that hasn't happened yet, or at least we're not aware of. But if it's been made aware of that there is video footage of Noah being murdered and it's really extreme and it will show the people in the footage as well. Wow, that sounds like real breaking news if it's really true. And if it's in the hands of the police, why is that not led to a breaking lead where the FBI can come in? Is it because they're just not needed? Billy, Travis Monson was at the party. I saw pictures of him there. Fair enough. I will do an individual video about that. I've got a hold of the photos. I just want to do a comparison myself and I'll give you my thoughts. How do you say this person's name? CC? Is that correct? CC? So if JJ was with him, then he was at the party. I saw the same picture a while back, but never heard any discussion until now. There was post here and there on Facebook, but at the time, people didn't know who the person was. Some people thought it was a Texas boy, when trying to work out the names. And now, in recent time, they know the name. What says, is that the guy who say criminals hate him? No. I don't think so. Carl, Travis who? Last name, Travis Monson. Lorraine, no. That's not the same pathetic lover that has the criminals hate me. I believe that Travis' last name is Davidson or something like that, and he's an old man. He's the one that said he was going to sue everyone. Monson, yep. What says Mikey Edwards and Isaac Rojas? Are these names correct? Well, to my knowledge, it's Isaac Rojas, yes, but Mikey Lair. Oh no, we got the Masonic stuff. Are these same people at the Dove event, you mean? I think their daddy was there. Dover event, Dove, the Dove one, I think. Yeah, wow. A lot of text there. Was there a last name? Attendees? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure with some of that. Billy, Jack called JJ to come on over. Why would Jack need JJ? Is it because Jack didn't want to get his own hands dirty? Oh, wow, there's a lot of conversation. It's really good, this. I've heard there is a video of the entire thing happening and it will come out. Me personally, I find it really hard to believe in terms of publicly speaking. But just as a quick reference, when it came to the Dylan Rounds case, the murderer Brenner was seen in a time-lapse footage on Dylan's phone post-death, in which Brenner had possession of it in his own trailer at 7:27 a.m. And what did it show? Well, we didn't see the video ourselves. It was never released publicly. Is it as graphic as this supposed thing in the Noah Presgrove case? It's nowhere near as graphic as the Noah Presgrove situation, right? Because it's post-death, post stuff that happened in Dylan Rounds, and the parents watched it, and obviously it was difficult, as it would. Justin Rounds, the father, described it. Basically, Brenner had blood on his arms, hands and shirt, a fair bit of blood, washing himself down and washing a firearm, which could have been the murder weapon used, as Dylan Rounds was shot multiple times in the head. As bad enough as it is, it's not as graphic as what we're looking at here, you know, the possibilities of it. But the fact that something not as graphic still wasn't released publicly, I don't think this will be either. There might be a description, there might be some kind of transcript, but I just don't see it going public because of how graphic it would be. You know, you think of gory videos and all that unfortunate bad stuff. You might get websites out there that have that footage on there. Illegal, not from the looks of it, but they tend to be like day-to-day life, not really tied to a case, where something like this is tied to an active case investigation. So, you know, I just don't know if it, I just don't think it would be released. Maybe the details of who was within the footage could be, yeah. But what do we have here? I think that says From Heaven, but spelled different. Good name. I've heard this as well. I will believe it when I see it. Fair enough, Carl. Wow, you mean a video of the murder or accident? That's insane. Who the hell would film it? People like them who film everything that happens so they can post it online. I get that, yeah. Pretty stupid if you ask me. If they did record it, they knew what was happening at the time, and I wouldn't doubt that they did that. The thing is, just because you delete something, it doesn't mean that it's gone forever. It can still be found. We've got Ash Allah. Ash Allah. 2 days ago, welcome to the channel. I don't think I've seen this person before. Ash says, probably a murder, a fight over a girl, and that's what people do nowadays. They film, just like those shark attacks and stuff, people just do it. Exactly. And even those that are on a bridge, you know, and what happens next, people just stand there and record. It's not exactly helpful at all. I mean, if it's to do with girl trouble, could we do a separate video on the Logan Jernigan situation? I mean, how it's been worded in the background is that JJ wasn't with Logan at the time, but if they were an item, and if Noah came across Logan, one thing could have led to another. I think that could be a separate video, but it would be more a theory, just to be careful. Wow, that's crazy. Luana, that's the behaviour. These individuals are used to people dying around them accidentally. Yeah, we've heard about references about that in the past. Tuesday, this is what I've heard also, and from a credible source. Just tells you the depravity of these people to film something so horrific. And, you know, I guess it does differ from person to person, but maybe when you think of certain serial killers, you know, the prolific bad people, and they might record things, or they might just document, take photos, maybe more so in the past when they didn't have all the technology. They might keep mementos to remind them of the victims and stuff, all kinds of crazy things. And yet in this case, are we dealing with any serial killers or people in the making? I mean, a little bit unrelated, but when it came to Noah's first anniversary and, you know, Avery's birthday too on the same day, supposedly, I guess they may have had a party, I'm not too sure. Where? Don't know. Did anyone die? Don't think so. Not that it's like an annual thing that a person will die, but I don't know, it's just, did Noah stand out compared to everyone else in the community? depending how you look at it. What else do we have? Billy. I'm sure Noah fought with all his might, but the 3, 4 or 5 that they were doing this to him overtook him. I mean, if it is a case of Noah fighting back, that's just like kind of like the worst case thing. To think you're at a party and you're supposed to be having fun, and then something like that happens in the moment, whether that be an ambush or not, planned or not, and if Noah was oblivious to still be able to fight back, despite, possibly being drunk as well, it just shows that, he had the fight within him as much as he could. Sherry says there is no way it was 1-on-1 or Noah would have won and would still be here today to tell about it. Maybe. Eric, this thought has crossed my mind many times. Carl, okay, as I asked someone else the same question, what was the trespass the main issue that made people really mad at Noah? No disrespect here really. Was Noah actually playing around with and banging, so basically getting very close, intimate with either Carter Combs or Avery Combs, Logan at different times at his 4-day party, or was it personal conflicts between people we know? Not the details. That's fair enough. Robin Willard. Okay, interesting. I think I've seen them elsewhere. Welcome. Robin says, I think it was several that ganged up on him. Jade, Noah was drunk, so anyone could have attacked him. But with all those injuries, multiple people attacked him or he was hit by a motor vehicle. I mean, yeah, Noah could have been drunk, but if Noah fought back, it just shows kind of like the strength within him. I mean, when you are drunk, you can be a bit more vulnerable and prone to sometimes bad things happening if you're out in public at night. I don't believe Noah had any defensive wounds on him from what I remember. Defensive wounds? What, when you try and protect yourself? But what if the self-defensive wounds were inflicted on the actual attacker, such as that supposed bite mark? But for a bite mark on someone's hand, it feels like it's very close quarter, that items weren't used and it was just fist or feet, kicking, punching. Because if you're holding like a bat, a pole, some kind of blunt instrument item, because of the range of it, the length of it, you're going to distance yourself slightly from the person you're attacking, right? You only get really up close when maybe it's hand-to-hand combat. Unless someone got tackled to the ground and dropped the weapon. Jade, I don't believe Noah had any defensive wounds. Yeah, it was like that. Sin, I don't know who it is. Sin says it's effed up. Only Noah was targeted and unalived. They need to come forward. Henderson, I agree with you. Safia, I'm not naming names, but I know who I think it sounds like. 6M Mother Beeps. Yeah. How is he supposed to stand up to that? Justice is coming for them, especially Jack, the ring leader. So like 6 people in total supposedly attacking Noah. I mean, if you think about it, when we looked at that autopsy report for the very first time round on the Daily Mail, it was mentioned by an expert. It came across as a beating of up to 5 people. Very specific, that number, and it's not that far off what's been mentioned here about 6. Makes you think. Tricia says they did gang up on him and had it planned out. That's why Jack begged Noah to come back to the party that Sunday evening. Wow. It would have been good to hear the phone call or the conversation to convince Noah to come back to the party. The language used, the tone of his voice, does it sound a bit off? Is it natural? Okay. I don't think there was ever a shower. I think they hosed him off on the patio. Could that explain the wet mark which Caden Pressey saw at 6:30 in the morning onwards? In my opinion, it sounds like quite a bit of time passing gone by. But in terms of if there was like 5 or 6 people attacking Noah outside of the house, you would think, because anyone else innocent inside the house would have to be oblivious to it, where they couldn't hear noise or they couldn't see it going on. So there might have been a bit of distance between the 2 locations and events. Watt says Bump Ass is best known to present-day viewers as the voice of Squidward Tentacles Dr. Gillian, the purple doctorfish, and the anchovies on SpongeBob. I'm sure last night someone left a comment saying SpongeBob, but I don't know what that was in reference to. I don't know if I mentioned that. And Carl says, what the F? What does that mean? Lol. And Safia says, that's another troll. I don't know if they're a troll or not, but I don't know if you saw Safia. Whatnot Coffee was the one that accused me of working with the corrupt LE and possibly knowing things behind the scenes and not revealing it to the public. I mean, how I've gone from an average nobody in life, a ghost in real life, to suddenly joining the higher-ups of the corrupt LE. Wow, I've moved up in life very, very quick. Where am I going to appear next? Am I going to be accused of being the first person to land on the moon? Am I going to be accused of being the person that built the ancient pyramids and Giza? And that was it Gaza? No, Giza, shit. And then the undergrounds, mazes, the labyrinth, that I'm secretly the bull. That's why I've got so much facial hair on me. I don't know. I've got no bull ring though, so you can't pull me on the nose. You're welcome, Cleo. Oh, Lorraine, adding some little comments here. Can you or someone else clear up something for me? I'm about blind. Well, you still do a good job reading and commenting, so that's all good. And I can't see who the first screenshot is with. Sounds like they're accusing him to start. Also, does the screenshot have the date on it? Those screenshots of JJ Hump Ass. JJ Hump Ass. That's a different name. Text don't prove shit in my opinion. I can understand where you're coming from because, you know, the cut on the person's head or hand is kind of shifting away from where it was being aimed at in the first place, more so on JJ. JJ was responding saying, oh, it was actually with Pekka. And Pekka was at B-dubs with JJ. It's kind of drifting away. I wouldn't say it directly answered it clearly. I don't think the job was done well enough. I said I wasn't exactly satisfied either when I saw that response. Anyway, all he had to do is talk on the phone with whoever and set it up to where they will text each other and say this stuff. JJ could say the fake text to get people to quit dragging his name through the mud or whatever. Anyone can fake text, not prove to me. Okay, fair enough. I would say it's a bit of a coincidence how the name's called Caden Pekka. Of all names you could think of, Caden. Not Caden Pressey, but another Caden. And there'll be many other people out there with similar names in this world and locals too. But I'm just thinking, it's just a little bit of a coincidence, that's all. Do you know, like with the highway situation where you got Tyler Hardy, and then earlier on you got the other set of truck drivers who have not been named. Is it double vision or is it truly separate people? It does make you think. Lorraine says, forgot to say, another great video on this case, Wallet Ralph. I look for one every day when I come on here. Helps me do some critical thinking. That's good to know, Lorraine. And as well, it can also be helpful for me too, because whatever happens, or, you know, like even in the past with, you know, doing videos, kind of like a routine, distracting yourself when doing the videos and stuff, it does help in many different ways. But I'd say maybe the standout thing that helps the most is just like the range of people that come along and watch. I mean, I don't like being too positive because I do run the risk of being too positive and saying too much positive things where it might backfire down the line and I look like an idiot. But I'd say like 99.8% of people that come by on this channel, whether they stick around or just pass on by, seem to be good people. But in terms of my description, it might sound a bit obscure, but I'd say like there's a handful of godlike people present, and I don't literally mean that, but I just mean like on a level of where, you know, people have got either a good sense of humour or very patient, understanding, you know, nice and stuff like that. And we've kind of seen it in the comments a bit recently, so that's all good. And it's, as well, interestingly, it's, you know, all over the place. More so from the US, as you would expect, but, you know, like people from the UK as well, which is even more positive to see because I don't see it enough. But when it does happen, it's very good. And even France, ooh, in recent time. Miriam, shout out to Miriam. I don't know if I've seen any of the comments in the comment section, but I'll just say shout out to them. What else do we have? We'll just move on. Billy, I hope Oklahoma Bureau of Investigation has these video footages. We wish, but they're not investigating OHPers. Once any bureau officially gets involved, it's because there's substantial evidence to be proven. Okay. Gary, new person, welcome. This case is like 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle with missing pieces. You'll get there, Warlight Raf, and a cat emoji too, that's nice. Ginger cat. Trisha, absolutely. I don't understand why the family not fighting harder for Noah to get justice. Supposedly they are fighting. I mean, another person did question it on Facebook, and then we saw that all-out war break out. So best not go into that too much at the moment. That bothers me that they're hiding somewhere. If it was for the army page, I don't think this case would have took place. Oh, if it didn't exist, fair enough. Colton Newton didn't like Noah. That could be another one Dina talking about, but her posts are a bit wacky. The army page has contacted to get the word out about Noah's case. Will not stop until justice is served. Noah will continue to be your voice. Carl, does anyone know why Colton Newton didn't like Noah? Good question. Is Colton Jack's dad? No, Colton Newton is the older brother to Jack Newton. The father is Caleb Newton. Caleb Newton is the father to Jack and Colton. And here we go. Trisha says, Noah Presgrove and Colton were both in the school wrestling team. Noah was like 2 years younger than him. Noah was a gifted athlete in every sport. Jealous was a main issue. Oh, jealousy. Noah was happy-go-lucky, always liked playing jokes on everyone, and was very handsome, and all the girls wanted him. It's just a sad story a way around. So because of Noah being more gifted or being more popular, maybe some of the people felt in the shadow and a bit jealous. And because they didn't have what Noah had, maybe they wanted to take away what Noah had, or take him away from the opportunities he had. Almost like to remind him, look, this is me, this is what I've not got, so I'm going to make sure you don't have it as well. Sometimes that's a motive at times when it comes to the jealousy part and how you take it out on people. Trisha, Colton is Jack's brother, yeah, Caleb's the father, all involved in what happened to Noah and the cover-up. Money talks with the Newtons, has plenty, that's why people not talking, everyone getting paid off and young ones getting new autos, new vehicles. I think when it came near to the 1 year anniversary, either on the day just before it or just after, a handful of people got brand new cars. I think Kathy Bingham was one of the Millans another. It was just a bit random. I only saw it because it was mentioned on Facebook. I don't know if people were looking too deep into it, but if it's a handful of different people all getting brand new cars in the moment, it seems like a special event in a way. Even though not everyone buys cars on the same exact day or wins cars on the same day. I don't know, it's just a bit weird. Carl, I keep hearing that, but do you know why Colton didn't like Noah? Well, it said about supposedly the wrestling team. Oh yeah, Carl just saw that then. Thanks for responding. I'm here from the beginning with Warlight Raft, but man, there were so many names. That's true. There are a lot of names. All you can do is try and remember the names in the moment. The current discussions is JJ Bumpass and Travis Monson and Colton Newton. They're the names as of today and recently what we're looking at. But it's also important not to let the past names fade away into darkness. So we'll always go back to them when there's time. Wow, so you think they were involved in paying people off? Seriously? Not rejecting your idea, but do you have any evidence and do you live around there and know of any of the party goers? Only two things: keep this many witnesses to a murder quiet, money and or fair. Oh yes, big payouts in the small community is basically owned by the guilty party and people are afraid that will happen to them and their family. The guilty family also investigated I was working in the area when all this happened, and yes, I heard tons of stories. I had to come back to Texas for health issues. The only thing I ever was told is Colton was jealous of Noah and his athletic abilities. Interesting. Luann, oh yes, it's true, and Stevie even made a comment that they were deep pockets. I do remember that reference, I couldn't remember who it was by, so that's interesting to know. Cece, Here in the States, we do not always call early morning hours by the following day name. That's understandable. It's imprecise, but not uncommon. What else? Robert. Cannot believe people don't stand up to the Newtons. What the F? He killed a little girl, the 7-year-old. The boating accident, as it's been labelled. Nothing done. Caleb smelled of alcohol and effed up law enforcement. Let him go. What the F? Go to justice for Katie Palmer. Who's that? And watch all of the videos. The piece of DA got voted out because Katie's husband hasn't stopped. He is in a runoff in November. Keep this family in your prayers. Not really heard about that case. Has anyone else? CC. JJ might not have been her boyfriend at the time, but he sure would have already been talking to her. Okay, girlfriend is not an official title. Is it not? No. Messing with Noah Presgrove would have angered him. Noah Presgrove already knew someone was after him, but he felt comfortable because that person was not at the party when he got there. I'm telling you, my gut feeling hasn't changed. Noah Presgrove was lured to the party and was never leaving alive, in my opinion. So one thing I will acknowledge, I do remember maybe some months ago, people on my channel, viewers, were suggesting maybe Noah was lured back, persuaded to go back to the party, to be trapped there. And the major component was Noah being dropped off, picked up from where he lives and then dropped off at the party, in which he had no vehicle of his own to get back home by himself. He was dependent on other people to give him a lift back. But in the background, people did say that Noah's vehicle itself was somewhat damaged because of an oil leak. So it made sense for Noah to get a lift back and from. Okay. Carl, okay, but what was the main issue? Someone or people had it against him to make them mad, jealous of Noah. And to be honest, I know the Dylan Rounds case is separate, but that was like a snap moment. And supposedly, well, not supposedly, Brenner was jealous of Dylan Rounds in Lucin, Utah. And the father, Justin, saw that jealousy within Brenner back in 2021, caught on camera. Nothing significant at the time in the moment, but then when you reflect back on it, you can think, wow, those years passing on by, Brenner already didn't like Dylan. It's worth taking into consideration. Trisha says they had it planned out and Noah wasn't leaving alive. Right. My grandson spent 8 days in ICU because of a mouth. What? An older guy beat him up. Grandson got one good punch in and didn't go in for a few days. He almost lost his hand knuckle area between the middle finger as were broken tooth caught his hand. Scary. Sorry to hear that. Wasn't it the other, not JJ, but Cal, that warned people to not utter the girl's name, the one that stated Noah's missing? What, Jasmine? And didn't Noah sleep with her the night before? That was Logan, though. Who is Cal? Had Wallach Raff mentioned him before? Cal? I thought Cal was short for California. Oops. The bacteria is off the charts in human mouths. I guess. It's also one of those other things where even with your mouth and how you use it, if you put things into your mouth that probably shouldn't be there, you can get bacteria that way too. And even if you do put things into your mouth, technically you're allowed to put in, regardless of how long you have it in your mouth for. Whether you keep it in, swallow, or spit, there can be complications. Strep staph, all available, don't know what that means. CC, being from a small town in Texas, I grew up with boys like these, and I know how they are. I've had friends murdered just like this. Sorry to hear that. And it's almost always over a girl. Also, small town Ellie is corrupt, even as Tesson as last year. I've known of a show's deputy that covered up all of his son's crashes. He would call him, and he would go to the scene and clean out the alcohol and drugs from the vehicle before calling in and reporting the accident. If you know or kin to the right person, they will cover up everything from a crash to a murder. Wow. I know exactly what you're talking about, live in a small town, and have seen several murders covered up and a lot of illegal behaviour from law enforcement. It's really scary. I mean, the only positive to take away from this, even if it's a bit hard to see, is, you know, like with like viewers on the channel who reach out and share their experiences, and they've got their own knowledge because they've been in similar situations in the actual area or further away, but the same type of environment, small town. And like others say, yeah, there's bad people in these small towns and there's corruption all there. At least we get most of the good people, such as these on screen and more, that come on in onto this channel. We don't get too much of the darker forces, do we? I mean, they can be lurking, no doubt about it, but, you know, it's mainly all under control. Jeannie, I know, my own half-brother covered up our mother's murder. Damn, I was 11. He was a small town deputy, married to the perpetrator's daughter. Carved that. God fixed it. The perpetrator died on my birthday 5 years later. Well, just close that down. And quite heavy. Sherry, now JJP. JJP? You mean JJ Bumpass is claiming the cut was from a broken beer bottle at a different party after Noah's death. Yeah, I think that's what was pretty much worded as. But it sounded like they were claiming Pekka was the one that cut himself. I don't know, I got a bit confused with that. Michelina, God, he showed proof, for Christ's sakes. You people are all unhinged. Okay. So Michelina on screen. They've been around on my channel for some time now. They've shared their own thoughts, opinions, fair enough. But maybe sometimes they don't always acknowledge the other side and perspective, like with Jack Newton. Like how Michelina has defended Jack over and over again, but then my response was, well, do you find that the 4 a.m. timestamp provided by Jack is perfectly normal? Michelina never responded. That's unfortunate. Is there a reason behind it? You could interpret it that way. But yeah, I did do my video. I did acknowledge that. It was good that JJ made an attempt to show some kind of proof or evidence, but was it enough? And that's one of the unfortunate things. You know, you state something or you claim something, people say, we want proof, we want evidence, then you show proof and evidence, and then the people still say, oh, it's just not good enough. So what more can you do? It's an awkward situation, and I'm just talking in general. But I do feel that I wasn't fully satisfied with the response by JJ because a little bit of it was answered or countered, but not clear enough, not quite what was needed to hit the spot. CC, if there are people who know that injury took place, Ellie knows but is not going to expose it or has the info and are building a case. That's the only two options. Okay, so what else do we have? The people who know the injury took place, Ellie knows but is not going to expose it or has the information and are building a case. Only two options. Interesting. And there we go, we've got Divine. Yeah, the threatening message Colton sent someone about staying out the Milan's messages was weird. Makes me think he was there too, and I've heard he didn't like Noah, as we've seen a bit of a backstory given below, which was quite helpful. Yeah, I mean, me personally, Divine, I think the moment Colton sent that, well, at least when I saw that first message by Colton, at a time of when I didn't know who Colton was, neither did I think he was a part of the case. After that message, it did make me question, and still to this day. Older brother, yeah, there we go. Rebecca, Dina is crazy, I think. I still appreciate her bringing up the bite and the antibiotics. I believe am I saying it in an American way? Antibiotics. Antibiotics. Oh no. Situation 1000%. The bite happened well before Noah died. She's definitely not crazy. I believe someone took the antibiotics and got them from a sketchy place, but that could be general basic fare, and it doesn't mean that would happen when Noah died. It does mean he was wounded, but I totally believe some nurse hooked it up. Nurses, cops and firefighters, all buddies. Remember that? Wow, this case would have been solved a long time ago if they were actually investigating it. I believe this was a murder staged to look like an accident. Yeah, but to be honest, how they staged the accident, it wasn't exactly good enough, because not long after it was written off, ruled out as a hit and run. And if that's what certain people were aiming for it to look like, stage it as, they didn't do a good enough job, did they? But then more so in recent time, did Jack Newton try swinging it back in that direction by changing the story of Noah wasn't wearing a pair of mismatched shoes. Noah was only found with one shoe on, even though that's not the truth. Was it a last-ditch, desperate attempt? We got poo. Walleye ref. She should have, and she meant Sunday night or early Monday morning. Oh, okay. That's in relation to Dean and her post. Also, JJ Bumpass has a post on the same page of the cut on his hand. He said he broke a beer bottle. JJ and Travis could have got there at 3 in the morning and left by 5:15 before Jack goes to tell everyone. I think that's how Noah lost all his teeth. Maybe he keep hitting him to get him to let go. Melissa. Is it Isaac who was identified at the casino with the hat? Not too sure. No names were ever mentioned. As for the CCTV footage, must be on the outside, leaning into the door, into the bathroom area. But there was supposedly a cleaner, a witness themselves that saw it all. But, their attitude online wasn't great. Skippy, can you provide more information such as who is stating this and this is legit info or speculation? Chandler. Yeah, a human bite will require antibiotics. I know for a fact on this, firsthand, literally. No pun intended, I guess. But in all fairness, yeah, I can understand that. I mean, some people that may have been bitten by a dog, right? Accident or not, probably best tend to, because you don't know the bacteria and all that. Ash says the same. I mean, me personally, have I been bitten before? I can't recall it. I don't know if I have been bitten. Have I been bitten by many people? No, not that I'm aware of. Anyway, it's not very hard to get a finger bit off during a fight. It doesn't take much. I mean, I would hate to imagine what it would be like on both sides, on the receiving end, but, the person biting down on it, because there's bones in the fingers, right? Ugh. Your teeth making contact with it. It just feels a bit weird. Chandler, I promise when my finger got bitten in half, sorry to hear that, infection started affecting my body and it spreads, it will put a person down until antibiotics. Human bites will require antibiotics. Fact. I guess that's the same though with animal bites as well, to an extent. Carl, wow, Wallite Ref. Dina Rose saying there are pictures and videos of Noah dead as a major bombshell. It does come across like that, doesn't it? Could have been hidden for 1 year. Who knew about this? Who took the footage? And if Ellie has this footage, then they need to start indicting, in my opinion. I don't understand, though, why Dina is so bent out of shape about the JJ Bumpass guy getting bitten and having to get antibiotics. Who gives an F? How does that tie into this video? Pictures of Noah dead. This is irrelevant, in my opinion. The bombshell is that there's supposedly footage out there. I guess if there is footage out there and it's true, and it shows the same said individuals in question a part of it participating in the attack, the murder, and if at any point it shows a person getting bitten, then yeah, it can link a lot more and make the bite mark a lot more significant as like self-defense inflicted injury onto the attacker by the likes of Noah, who had every right to defend himself, even if it was an impossible task. So with time, I do kind of understand it more and the importance with it. I really appreciate Doctor giving you these texts. Oh, Dina Rose. Oh, no. I thought DR meant Doctor then. I thought you were going to say Dr. Raf, but you mean Dina Rose. Oh, boy, that was a bit of a slip-up text. But like you said, Raf, Scatter said we all need more. However, I do truly believe there was a brutal attack, and honestly, it makes me sick to even think what Noah went through. I mean, in terms of all this, suppose bombshell information coming out and discussions, one thing that's not really been mentioned much is from the family or maybe Caden's side. It's been very quiet, but, maybe for good reason. Maybe they're taking it in as well. Things are going on in the background, can't be expressed at this moment. Time will tell. Robin, you'd think there would be DNA inside Noah's mouth. That's a fair point. That's a good point, that. But unfortunately, I guess how the LE, or more so the ME, handled things and the delays as well, maybe some DNA along the way might have been wasted. Jade, I spoke to JJ Bumpass on Facebook. He told me that he was with Caden. Which Caden? Caden Pecker at Jack's... Oh, you mean Caden Pressey on this occasion. Okay. So Jade spoke with JJ on Facebook. JJ said he was with Caden Pressey at Jack's junkyard, but he didn't see any golf clubs, and he said Jack wasn't there. And a guy named Kobe said he was with Caden at Jack's junkyard at another time, but Jack wasn't there either. But Caden, in his interview, made it seem like Jack was there. When Caden asked Jack if he could keep the golf clubs, Kobe said he and Caden saw the golf clubs, and Kobe said they looked like they'd been there for a while. And that Caden called Jack to ask if he could keep the golf clubs, but Kobe said he didn't hear the phone conversation. Caden, in his interview, made it seem like Jack was present physically. Caden's mom initially told me that one of them is lying and that Jack was there for one of those incidents. Right. Oh no. Michelina says Alicia Lee is a shit starter. She's made at JJ and now JJQ's. How convenient. Oh yeah. Alicia Lee is Aubrey Turner also. What? Claiming there's video proof of JJ, so I turned it into law enforcement because she's a liar. Good luck explaining that, Alicia. Right, so it looks like we've got a bit of tension and conflict here between Michelina and Alicia. Not too sure what's going on there, but no harm in documenting it as we go along. Dina. Right, I'm guessing this is not the Dina because it's spelled differently and it's in lowercase. That's one way to tell. I'm guessing the bite from Noah to Mike... Oh, you mean Mikey was probably just a hard enough bite to get him to remove his finger. Yeah, fair enough. The other bite may have occurred whilst grabbing Noah to start the attack. Biting is a defence mechanism. Yeah. I don't remember who it was, but the police went to talk to someone who I believe was a nurse at the clinic. I saw someone confirm it, who was a relative of the nurse. Sorry, I'm bad with names. That's okay. Dina saying he died at night or the night of his death. I would have said it the same way. Okay. I never think of a new day until I've went to sleep and then woke up. That's understandable. It's 2 in the morning next day. Dina means well and thinks she knows more than she can say. Right. I've not been around long enough to come across Dina and her past post. Other people, though, seem to be a bit cautious of her. So, you know. Smooth Fishing, good to see Smooth Fishing once again, long time viewer, good individual. I think they're all gaslighting Caden to change his story so it makes them not look guilty. And I guess if they feel it's one against many, they've got the upper hand. They feel like their presence and in numbers is enough to try and force Caden to change it up. But Caden is trying to stand tall, which is a good thing. But with that comes a price, a target on your head, unfortunately. Okay. Oh, we got the Mrs. Kibb. Shout out to Mrs. Kibb. Maybe a new viewer on my channel. First time I've seen her, so that's all good. What if Noah Presgrove was hit or punched in the mouth hard enough that it knocked his teeth out and maybe left a deep wound on this mystery person's hand knuckles? I kind of understand that. That's a fair point. And it looked like a bite wound. Is that possible? I'm just trying to figure this out along with you and countless others. So, you know, when I'm thinking of it, this is a completely different situation. So just bear with me. Like an animal attack. Certain circumstances, animal attacks, animals can lose their own teeth when they get lodged into maybe another animal or maybe a person. You know, when, you know, they lock the jaws and then they try and release and they can't let go, so they just yank it and then the tooth comes out. Is that even possible with this case? I don't think so personally, because not to sound dodgy, but if that was to happen with a human, the person would have to have had a big mouth open wide, and the other person would have had to have fisted them. You know, you put your fist into the person's mouth and then the other person bites down. But why would you be fisting someone in the mouth when there's other means to inflict damage on the person you're attacking? But I don't think that's what Mrs. Kibb's getting at. I was just adding my own thoughts on. But somehow being punched across or towards the mouth and maybe a glance or a catch of one of the teeth scraping along. But would that be a bite? It would be more like a scrape, unless at the time of when being punched, defense mechanism, just within the body, a mechanism to bite down on it. Who knows? All kinds of injuries can come about, so it is possible. It's worth acknowledging. We've got Ash once again. Shout out to Ash. I sometimes will say Sunday night if I hadn't gone to sleep yet before Monday, like a Monday talking about Sunday's party even at 6 a.m. I'd say Sunday night if that makes sense. Yeah, I understand. And even if JJ and Logan weren't together, they could have still been talking in high school or after high school. I've been talking to someone, then heard someone I knew was trying to make moves on him, or when I was low-key talking to or debating on dating someone, were at a party being sloppy and showed up to see what was up. So I don't think it matters if they weren't dating at the time or not. Yeah, that's made sense. That's you worded that well. Very clear. Oh, what's going on there? Flannel, good name. Someone using the expression "the night Noah died" doesn't necessarily imply a certain hour. Yeah, the way it was used was non-specific. Carl, just to be clear, who are those two guys in the thumbnail? JJ Bump Ass and Travis Monson. There you go. If you want a better way of looking at it, Travis Monson looks like Jeffrey Dahmer with those glasses and the hat and the curly hair. And JJ Bump Ass looks like a sprout with that headband on. C. Henderson. Another excellent video. That's very good, that very kind. Eye-opening. Thank you all for what you've done and still doing to help bring justice. And there we go. Carly. Oh, is that short for California? I'm not too sure. Or the person's name. Oh, it might be the person's name. So shout out to Carly. I see a lot of people watching videos but forgetting to leave thumbs up. Before you leave, please give a big thumbs up. That's nice. BJ Building Construction says, if you knock someone's teeth out, you might need antibiotics. Teeth, mouth carries a lot of bacteria. Interesting. Building construction could possibly link in with what Mrs. Kibb was getting at, so that's good. Interesting. Glenn, shout out to Glenn. Safia, I laugh so hard when Raf does the shouty tones. You got the damn right stuff, you muffin. I'm not even done yet. I got a lot more to offer. You want to come at me? Well, look at the replies right now. You're still laughing, whatever. I think it's good. That's wrong, man. All great. Couldn't quite get the pitch. There was a time when I did it, I sounded more like Mickey Mouse. I don't know if that's even possible right now. I think what is needed is just a little bit of water first. When it came to the Dylan Brown's case, there was the odd person with a very shouty tone, and I don't know what accent. It was from the US, but somewhere within the US. It was like, well, you bet you ain't wood. I've been waiting all day, all night long. My pockets are full of dry, and you owe me money. You got that wrong. You tried to shut me down. It didn't work. You tried to silence me. It didn't work. I don't know where you at. I don't care what you're doing. We're still here right now. Blown video stuff here. We got it all in control. There we go. Oh, and speaking of which, not Mickey Mouse, but Michelina, once again. This is how manipulative Alicia Lee is. She started this about JJ because they disagreed on the golf clubs. Pretty sad to try and pin a murder on someone because she pissed at them. Now, how do I word this? In a way, when I have come across Alicia Lee, at least from my experience, I've not seen Alicia direct the blame towards JJ. At least in my experience, okay? I've not seen any finger pointing by Alicia. That's just my own experience, okay? But just wanted to add it in. Leanne says, that was great. Appreciate that. Welcome. This person, for your information, you do not have to be bitten in order to get an infection from bacteria in someone's mouth. If you hit them with a fist and your skin breaks and saliva gets in the wound, definitely can get badly infected. That's why antibiotics are required. Yeah, but if it's specifically described as a bite mark, I'm guessing kind of like a puncture wound in a way. A scrape, a scratch, a cut could be and will be different to a bite. You know, at times when you get bitten, not that it's a regular thing unless that's what you get up to in other rooms, but if you get bitten, depends how serious it is, but it can leave like tooth marks or kind of imprints forever how long it would be, right? So there is that to take in mind. It's like with, you know, some people might have like long scratch marks down the back, you know, red lines, but that's because the other person was clawing at their back when the other person was on top of them. But that's that's not so much in a fight situation, that's more playing around. But in fairness, you can still get scratches, claw marks too in a fight. You know, you think of prehistoric times, evolutionary, it kicks in within the body in a way. Flight or fight kicks on in, you defend yourself or you do what you can. Sometimes it's instinctive, so like the biting, the scratching, the pushing, trying to distance yourself. There, just like if you used to brace for impact, normally you might put your hands out or cover your head. It just happens. And what else do we have? Chrissy says, so Jasmine and Logan are Millans. No. Jasmine Milan, Stephanie Milan, and Jade Milan, but Jade wasn't at the party. Those three people are part of the Milan family. Renee Milan, the mother. And as for anyone else, I can't remember the names. Logan is an individual person. Logan Jernigan, who at one point supposedly was living with Carter Combs, Avery Combs at the party house. Does that still apply right now? I don't think so. Anyway, let's just see what else. Are they cousins of one of the male party goers? I don't think so. Then, Avery and Carter Combs are cousins. Avery and Carter Combs are sisters. And Stephanie is a Milan as well. Yes, as I said earlier. Logan is the girl Noah hooked up with at the party. Supposedly, yes. Ashley Chadwick and Robin Smith said that they did more than kissing, and that was supposedly Saturday night, I think. I think the motive was one of the several different scenarios that involved girl or girls. Okay. The fact that the shower was a big event and then Noah was found naked, I wonder if the main suspect found Noah in the shower with one of the two girls, and one of those girls was a girlfriend of the suspect. Another theory would be that Noah was found to be taking advantage of one of the girls and one of the boys wanted to teach him a lesson. There were some other more extreme theories involving some pretty crazy cover-up techniques and or high-level criminal activity. Okay. So hopefully I answered some of your questions. What I will do, Chrissy, with everything that's going on in recent time, I might in some way try and construct it as a map analysis. It might not be a timeline or a true one, but I'm starting to visualize it a bit more now. I'm getting a bit more comfortable with the names and the possibilities around it. People have already done a good summary here in, possibilities, but if I can just apply it onto the maps and give my own thoughts, I think that will work out fairly well. Last but not least, Lorraine says, was it ever discussed whose dark greenish truck that Jack posted for sale the day Noah died? Question. I wasn't really aware of that. And I remember Jack pushing the narrative that he believed either Noah was hit by a semi-mirror or it was the Texas boys. Along the lines of the Texas boys, Jack was implying if it was that, Noah was in the back and fell off the vehicle somehow. That's what Jack said. Who left right after Noah. Jack said that several times texting with Justin Roy, and he said he didn't know who they were. Which is interesting, isn't it? That none of them did, but only Avery was friends with them. I then read text on Reddit between a few girls, and one said, is Jack still saying he didn't know the Texas boys? And then said he knows Colin. Who's Colin? Not, hey Colin. I don't know, that sounds like an English name. Not sure who that is, but according to Jack, there was 5 of them on the side-by-side with Noah driving when he rolled it. Interesting because no names were ever really mentioned as to who was on the side-by-side incident when Noah was driving. Travis and JJ could be 2 of them. The ATV ride could have been their way of getting Noah away from others. Owen, did Caden ever actually say he saw Noah taking a shower? No. Or afterwards? No. Caden did say that earlier on Sunday night, Noah talked about taking a shower, but then that happened later going into Monday. Probably more so sped up, influenced by the supposed side-by-side if he did get dirty. None of that could even be true. Just thinking, by the way, love watching your videos. I always catch up on everything I've missed. That's good to know. Appreciate that. Shout out to Lorraine, good individual, good comments, and a lot of activity in the comment section, which really does help a lot because Just by the presence of all these people that have commented today, and many others out there who may comment on a different video, what's happened is today, and I might have mentioned it early on, it creates ideas. It makes it easier to then apply it to maybe future videos. I'm going to try and do that. Maybe in between, I'll try and reach out or sort some things in the background and then see if there's any other ways of learning or picking up on stuff, which then maybe I could add on to my own map analysis. But yeah, I'd say in my opinion, this case has taken a big twist, out of nowhere. And maybe some were aware of these names with time, or were aware of certain individuals but weren't aware of the exact names, like Travis. But we'll get through it bit by bit. It was good to look at these comments. I mean, I can do a poll possibly. As for the next video, what would you like to see? That will be on my channel page, but as a heads up, so you've got time to think and vote, because that vote option is not time limited. It will be there forever, so you can vote when you can. The poll options could be, would you want to see a Travis Monson photo analysis to see whether he was at the party or not and compare it with other photos to reinforce or debunk? Would you like that? Or would you want, straight ahead looking into a theory, at least, a concept map analysis of possibilities of JJ, Travis, anyone else, Colton, arriving at the party? Let me know what you think in the comment section as well. And yeah, I think we'll leave it there for now. All in all, thanks for watching. Hopefully you found the video interesting. Feel free to like and share this so more people get to see it. More so the conversations and discussions, because some of the questions and points may be of interest to those possibly on Facebook pages. We'll see. And just be on the lookout for future videos, because there's a handful to come. And all I'll say is, to the best of my ability, and as long as I can focus, and even if things do happen in the background in real life, I'll try and focus on right? I mean, at the moment, in the background, things have happened, unexpected stuff. Started yesterday, but later on into the evening. I did my recorded video daytime, morning, but then later on, something unexpected happened in the background. Not good, but even just the video, the live premiere, the funny comments last night were quite good and helpful. So I'm still doing videos, in case anyone's wondering. Just focus on, because doing these videos can be a good distraction as well. As bad as the case is, because I'm not emotionally connected to the case, I can use it as a form of distraction, but that's not an excuse in any way. I focus in on the case to still keep it alive. You could, even though it's quite vague what I just said, it's just because of privacy and respect, but the theme of what's being covered, the theme of Noah, it's not in terms of the cause of death, but just like the theme of what happened in general, passing. That's kind of like what I'm getting at in terms of in the background, right? I'm just keeping it vague. So there are still videos to come. Just wanted to share that as like a little update. I'm still focused, or at least try to be focused. It's like in 2022, that was the beginning of when I did a video almost every single day. It wasn't exactly planned, more so I did it back then because there was other issues going on at the time, but it wasn't as severe, but it was bad enough in terms of long-term with others. It was to do with that, not me, but that elsewhere, and I just, at times, had to turn into a psychologist. So whilst I do take the piss on YouTube, sometimes I have to become that in reality, because it's needed and it does work. I've not got small, it's because I've got the phone pointing higher up. But in terms of when I was doing videos in 2022 as a distraction from what was going on around, it did help. And then just naturally, that's what led to the growth on YouTube and more people coming along. So yes, the Kenny Veach case was explosive, was powerful, hard-hitting, popular. It wasn't on a daily basis because, one, I just wasn't in that routine. There wasn't that bad event that happened to cause me to go in that direction for it to end up working out. It was also because of limited material. Whereas with true crime, active investigations, where it's not a cold case, it's still active, so there are still things being talked about, and people present online. That's what can lead to things lasting and going on until they're solved. Now, I'm not saying that I've got a good record, but like when it comes to looking at cases, out of all the cases that I've looked at, and I mean more full on, Kenny Veach I looked at, still technically unsolved, but some progression has been made along the way by me and others. Christine Passay Parker, covered that case. That was solved, and I covered it from start to finish. That was all positive. Obviously, the outcome wasn't, but in terms of being around to finish what one started and give updates along the way, that was a success. The other one, Idaho 4, I don't count that because that was just on the sideline. Dylan Rounds, absolutely one of the first big ones that I covered in terms of the time from start to finish. And now I can't bend my fingers, they're not as flexible. The fourth one being Noah Presgrove, still ongoing. I mean, obviously, I don't like, I like saying that I've got stamina, but at the same time, maybe I talk too much. You know, if I get carried away, if I talk too much, I put more pressure on myself. It's like with the Dylan Rounds case in the community, I was very critical at the time and critical of humans who were problematic, but I was still critical and talked a lot. So it added more pressure onto me to make sure I wasn't a hypocrite, to make sure that I didn't slip up or I didn't turn into them. So, you know, it just happens. So not to add any pressure, but at least what I can do, and despite what's going on right now in the background with, you know, I can still focus in. As for the length of coverage on this case, all I can say is, I can't say it's like guaranteed because I think that's probably a bit too far, but not that anyone wants it to go on long, but let's just give some conditions just based off what I think and feel. If this case, in brackets, unfortunately went on for another 2-3 years, but there were still discussions and events and some bits and bobs coming out for me to look at and other stuff for me to look back on, I'd probably say there's a high chance that I could cover this case for the next 2 to 3 years, nearly every day, for sure. I'd understand if people got bored or got a bit tired of the case going on and on and on. I get that. So statistically, that's another factor to consider because the aim is to keep the case alive, to spread awareness. So there's that. But obviously, people want the case solved as soon as possible. At the same time, because it could be true crime related, mysteries or whatnot, people can be interested in cases because of those reasons. So when things are solved, even though it sounds bad, human behaviour, people could feel a little bit disappointed. Oh, it's solved now. Oh, what do we do now? The dark reality is there will always be another case. There'll always be another event which you can look into. Not good for the people on the receiving end, but still, there's things to look at. And there'll be unsolved things from the past, so there is that. But I do feel comfortable and somewhat confident that there is still coverage to be done on this case, even if it did drag on. And supposedly, I might be the last person standing on YouTube. I think not quite, because you've still got, you know, the Sharai, you've got Partners in True Crime in a way, and maybe some other channels too, here and there, which I might not come across. Not everyone can upload every day because maybe just not the time or busy or responsibilities. The reason why I can is obviously because more time, you know, it's kind of self-explanatory, but it's just because of the mindset, because I might pick up on things. Because I try and cover multiple perspectives, it means double, triple, quadruple the amount of videos. I might not give enough opinions, but I get there eventually. Whereas if you get another person out there that gives their opinions, their thoughts, and what they truly feel, but they don't consider anything else or any other points of views, they might create 5 videos. Now, when I do mine, I could do those 5 videos, but then if I did it from different perspectives, I could quadruple that. So 5 times whatever, I'm shit at maths, would equal the true amount of videos that I could do. So yeah, and I mainly did it just because I kind of know what I'm doing. Whereas in the past, complete blank mind. Before I did YouTube, I had a complete blank mind, completely hopeless. But even though these are negative cases and bad things, you know, and considering what's going on and the theme of this, I don't see it the same way, because I'm not connected with the case in that way, meaning there is no conflict of interest. So if anyone was worried, there's no conflict of interest here. I could still cover the case regardless, so that's all fine. So apologies about that, just wanted to clear some things up, and I'll just stand a bit taller just so I don't look like I've shrunk. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, whenever that is. Goodbye, good night for now.